we need is peace. Peace, love, and unity. Without those three major basic ingredients, there can be lasting development, real development, and growth, stability in any nation, in any continent. Talk about Africa, for example, where we see ourselves more like brothers and sisters. We always use the word be our brother's keeper, watching our backs, and of course, being there for each other when it matters most. I think this is the case of South Africa, or this was the case rather of South Africa when they were going through a very, very tumultuous period, talking about apartheid. And it was a very, very strong statement from all many African countries then that it is a no-no. Apartheid must stop in South Africa, and they must free Mandela. Don't forget that late icon, world legend, spent 27 years in prison just because of his belief, and of course doing everything possible to ensure the emancipation of his people in South Africa. But beyond then, when democratic government actually came into force in South Africa in 1994, there are comparative study and research that dictates that xenophobic attacks, or what you call xenophobia in South Africa, have been on a significant increase. And you begin to wonder, before or during apartheid, it was the issue of Westerners, of foreigners who are not Africans, taking over the land, taking over the jobs, controlling the economy of that gigantic nation, South Africa. And then Africans came together to actually fight this monster. And then they had somebody in Mandela who could actually balance it, making sure that they forgave this so-called foreigners who took their jobs and dehumanized them, already committing so many inhumane acts. Beyond that, it has continued to increase. Now South Africans are very venomous in their claims that it is even African migrants who they call brothers and sisters that are now taking over their jobs, that are taking over the economy and polluting, in quotes, their environment. How? You may want to ask. They said that many migrants have taken to prostitution and drug trade. Well, you may say that is everywhere. Everywhere you go, you find prostitution, you find drug trade, you find drug use and abuse, even in the case of minors. But I tell you that it will be very difficult to come up with a specific figure of those who have been at the receiving end of xenophobic attacks, talking about those who have either lost their lives or to quantify the damage financially. Some Nigerians have lost properties, businesses, life savings to these attacks. Don't forget the one that came in 2015 that generated a lot of hula baloo and almost culminated into a diplomatic face-off between Nigeria and South Africa. The recent one is also generating ripples, even though the Minister of Foreign Affairs has said that no Nigerian can be identified to have been killed in this recent xenophobic attacks. But beyond that, Somalians, Zimbabweans, Ugandans, so many others are in South Africa. Some of them are eking out honest living, legal means, legally doing their businesses legitimately without engaging in prostitution or drug trade. Are they really the problems? In the words of Thabo Mbeki, who is saying that South Africans have been ungrateful to their helpers. And I think Nigeria can actually pride herself as one of the major helpers of South Africa when they needed it most. But beyond these issues, beyond the sentiments, beyond the bias, is it right for people to actually go to other people's country, land, and pollute it, in quotes, as it were? Are you supposed to do everything outside the law and behave as if there is no law that governs such a nation? Well, uh, the House of Representatives and the Senate are taking the bull by the horn to actually wade in. Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, the majority leader of the House, has led a delegation to South Africa. The Senate are also looking in that direction to see if they can do whatever it is to stop any face-off between Nigeria and the government of South Africa. That is what we'll be looking at this morning. We will be linking up with Dr. Jendele Hungbo, all the way from South Africa. He's a Nigerian, but he's currently working there. He's one of the few honest Nigerians who are eking out a living honestly, legitimately in South Africa. And we have a guest in the studio also, though he's a realtor, real estate agent, but he's a public affairs analyst and a social commentator. I'm talking of Deji Ogundimu. You're welcome to the Daybreak Show.
Thank you very much, Toby.
Well, Chienye, you and I were talking off air, and we were talking about these xenophobic attacks and how the world, the world in quote, sees Nigerians. If you have the opportunity to travel outside the country and you enter even some of these African countries now, when you land at the airport and they see your green passport, or they say, who are you? And you say, where are you from? Say, I'm a Nigerian. The kind of the kind of twist, the 360 degrees turn that you experience from their smiley face, and how they begin to scrutinize your bags, how they begin to treat you, will make you question yourself and begin to wonder, have critical thinking about what being in Nigeria really means to your fellow Africans and even foreigners.
But even at that, Nigerians are not the worst of they're not the worst of people. We have other people who engage in these things, and then they are not looked at like that. But why should it be Nigerians? Nigeria, when it comes to crime, when it comes to this, when it comes to that, you find Nigerians in it. Why should this be?
Well, that's a point that you're making. Deji Ogundimu, let's start off this way. Xenophobia is not peculiar to South Africa. By your understanding, what do you think is the major cause of xenophobia?
Thank you very much. Toby, the issue with South Africa is a very, very big phenomenon when it comes to violence and so many other inhuman activities that are being meted out to Nigerians and other nationalities. I want to believe strongly that most of the youths that are at the forefront of this attack are children or youths born in post apartheid days. That is why I want to believe they don't have a rich knowledge of the role Nigeria played during their apartheid era and what we were able to do, and very, very strong and laudable efforts of our own General Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, and what other African leaders, how they rallied around South Africa to get them out of the shackles of apartheid. Having said that, most of these youths, I will want to just relate this issue with history. When you don't know history, or when you don't have a knowledge of what has happened, or how you arrive at a particular spot, you are bound to actually do some things that will make you appear ungrateful to some people that has actually labored or fine-tuned how you arrive at a particular spot. Let me go back to the issue of when the University of Lagos was about to be named after late Moshood Abiola. Most of the youths that were in school then, they were not born, or they were born 1994, 95. That is the way I want to see it. Because if they knew who Abiola was and the role he played about his philanthropism and humane, donation and so many other activities towards institutions and schools and every other things, Even if they want to go against renaming the school after him, it will have been done in a more civilized and, maybe through dialogue, not going out the way they did in a very violent and unruly way, as if Abiola was not in Nigeria. Yes, the name and his personality. That is what I believe is happening presently in South Africa. Most of the productive and agile youth that are actually involved in this xenophobic attack, most of them did not know or did not witness or they don't know much about apartheid and what have you then. Having said that, the mentality of most of the South Africans, the violent dispensation, I mean the current inhumane acts in them, I want to believe must have been established by the apartheid era. Because no matter what, some of them must have heard about what their forefathers went through in the hands of the whites they were lording over them then. We read so many things, we watched so many books that according to a book written by the late Madiba Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, may his soul rest in peace, The Long Walk to Freedom. When you read the book, no matter how strong you are, you will be forced at a particular point to actually ask yourself if what was presented in that book actually happened. From human beings to human beings, irrespective of the color. So I think some of them that actually knew about the history, now when they got the freedom they so much sought and fought after, they now decide to replicate or do same thing, the kind of inhuman treatment meted out to them or their great grandfathers to some other people, which shouldn't be. Whether Nigerians or other nationality, there's no cause for South Africans to be as brutal as news and information reaching us has painted the whole xenophobic attack. Talking about the responsibilities of government, I want to say if the government of Nigeria is very, very responsive and responsible enough, there ought to have been a lot of stricter diplomatic sanctions in order to forestall the ugly incident of these attacks on Nigerians. It should have gone beyond mere rhetorics and being silent about it. I don't see any reason why Nigerian or South African High Commissioner in Nigeria shouldn't have been summoned to the Senate to make sure to let us see that actually the government really shows concerns about Nigeria. Everything has been so silent about it. That is why people are now looking for some kind of pre-terms arrangement about boycotting some South African services and business, which to me is what we Yoruba will say boycotting South African business in Nigeria doesn't have any effect on South Africa. When you boycott a business or when you even stage a protest somewhere or you want to force them from not running a particular business, you will just find out that most of the workers you are depriving of their jobs are Nigerians. You will see their South African bosses at the window looking down and just laughing at you that you are actually dealing with your nationalities, not us. So it should have gone beyond the issue of boycotting. The Nigerians should be responsive. I want to believe we Nigerians has a lot of things to do to actually hold our government accountable at all levels. All these things that are happening to Nigerians and making us a laughing stock in the international community and within, they are things that ought to have been, rectified. Nobody can do this for us, except Nigerians. Nigerians should start forming groups and organizations, legitimate groups and organizations that will be asking questions, that will be sensitizing people on how to constructively engage in the, matter that has to do with governance. You don't have to be a political office holder. You don't have to contest for political office before you can contribute your quota towards bringing Nigeria to where it's supposed to be. It goes beyond that.
Okay, we'll still come to a lot of issues, examining one after the other, the reasons many South Africans are giving for launching these attacks on Nigerians and foreigners, immigrants as it were, in South Africa, and the rationale behind it, whether they have a solid argument and base for this to justify these attacks. Well, right now, let's go this short break and try to reach out to Dr. Jendele Hungbo, who is in South Africa. All right, so sorry about the delay. We're trying frantically to reestablish connection with Dr. Jendele Hungbo. Dr. Jendele Hungbo has his doctorate degree in media studies, and of course, he's in Northwest University in South Africa, Massiken, to be precise. Dr. Jendele Hungbo, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Tobi.
All right. Okay. I hope you can hear us loud and clear.
Yes, I can.
All right. Now, Dr. Jendele, South Africa is not new to this xenophobic attacks. It's been on for some time now. Now it's taking a new dimension. What exactly would you pinpoint as the major cause for this?
Well, the causes are quite numerous. If you want to kind of place a hand on what's responsible for these frequent outbursts of violent attacks on immigrants in South Africa. But I think we should start from this angle. Because of the way the attacks have gone, and because of the categories of people who have been constantly attacked each time this happens, people have begun to say, no, let's not even call this xenophobia, let's call it Afrophobia. Because if you are European in South Africa, you're quite unlikely to come under attack. In other words, if you are white, you are a white immigrant, you are quite unlikely to come under that kind of attack. But if you are black, and you are Asian, there's a likelihood that you might come under this kind of attack. Several reasons have been adduced for this. Some people say, well, it's a contest over resources that are not enough. I don't think so. Other people are saying, no, it's because there's a lot of criminal activities going on in the country. Other people say, yeah, it's because foreigners, so to say, have an edge over the locals in certain things. And those are very, very difficult things to prove. In a way, an impression has always been created in South Africa that there are too many immigrants in the country. And those who say that, at one point, claimed there were 13 million immigrants from the rest of Africa who live in South Africa. But that has been disproven, and with records, they later found out that when we're talking about less than 3 million immigrants who live in the country. So, but because always people tend to see some of these bogus figures in the media, those kind of things result to an anxiety, and then people get unnecessarily agitated about how they've been swamped by people from other African countries because those people are here to take over certain opportunities that should have been reserved for the locals. Where in any case, there are policies that reserve opportunity for locals in South Africa.
Hello? Hello? Okay.
Lost connection.
I think so. The network must have been funny. Okay, let's reestablish connection with Dr. Jendele Hungbo. We'll be back. All right, we now have Dr. Jendele Hungbo back. Yes, as you were saying, Dr. Jendele.
So there are policies that reserve opportunities for South Africans. So for example, if you have to apply for a job in South Africa, you have to go through a rigorous interview process. Your qualifications have to be there. And if two people qualify, one of them is a non-South African and another is a South African, you can be very sure that the job will go to a South African. It's only where they have need, and they can find a local person to fit into the position, that the position might go to someone who's not South African. And so, but I think the reason why these things
Now, Dr. Jendele, would you say that the rising rate of unemployment in South Africa might be responsible for this? You have talked about job opportunities. That is for those who have actually had some level of education, and you know that there are the typical population of South Africa really do not take education serious. So, do you think unemployment, the high rate of unemployment, is a major issue when it comes to these attacks?
Yeah, people cite unemployment. I think unemployment is a global issue. South Africa is not the only country where people are unemployed or where people are struggling to find jobs. Even if you go to Europe, you go to the US, go to any part of the world, unemployment is becoming a general global problem. But the narrative when you talk about unemployment is highly political. The narrative in South Africa, and then what I see is that the South African political class seems to have failed, you know, in that failure, they look for a scapegoat. And the easiest scapegoats you can find would be the non-nationals, non-South Africans who are in the country. They see them as easy targets. And that's why they keep saying, oh, they come here, they take our jobs, they come here, they do. Check for example, most of these people who are fighting on the street, they are not professionals. They are the local people who are there who fight for the kind of jobs that foreigners do. Let's clarify something. There are two categories of immigrants when you talk about questions of job opportunities and economic opportunities. There are those who are in the formal sector. To be in the formal sector, you have to be eminently qualified, and you probably have to be qualified more than in South Africa. You have to be more qualified for that position to be able to get it. And when you talk about those kinds of categories of people, you're talking about medical doctors, engineers, lecturers, people in the construction industry, architects who are professionals, and so on. And you also have this category in the informal sector. Those are the kind of people who set up what we call partner shops here, like small shops where you can what's called like provision shops. And people who set up those kinds of businesses are the ones who are in the informal sectors, and they are the main targets of these kinds of attacks. Somebody sets up a small shop beside your house, or he comes to rent a shop from you and sets up a business. And the moment that business begins to thrive, you begin to talk about why are South African businesses, informal businesses not thriving, whereas Pakistani businesses are thriving, Bangladeshi businesses are thriving, Nigerian businesses are thriving in the informal sector. And those are difficult things. I think that rather than attack those shops and loot them and burn them down and burn people's houses, the question should be, what can we benefit from one another as fellow Africans? How do we learn the business practices lead to these kinds of profitability? Those are not the kind of things we're seeing. And then when you see those, that's when you begin to wonder what exactly has gotten over South Africans.
Okay, Toby, let me ask this question. He has listed some of the causes of the xenophobic attacks. We have criminal activities, we have foreigners having an edge. But really, is violence the solution to these problems?
Yeah.
Why should they take laws into their own hands?
Now, Dr. Jendele, did you hear that?
Doing the right thing now.
No, I didn't get the question. Can you repeat that?
Okay, Chienye, my co-presenter is asking that would you say that violence from these angry South Africans is the way forward? Is that the only solution?
No. I don't think that is the way forward. I think the way forward, the question we should ask is, what's the way forward for each of the countries that make up the African continent? And then what is the way forward for Africa as a collective? Now, when you look at there was a time when the former, just recently, the former president Thabo Mbeki said he was shocked at the fact that you have asylum seekers in South Africa, or you have people who are moving away from their countries because there are problems there. There are immigration policies which dictate what they need to do. Now, the narrative we hear is that there is the system of corruption. If there is corruption, deal with the corruption. Also in Nigeria, the Nigerian government continues to allow things degenerate. And it means that you're going to continue to have the exodus of Nigerians to other countries. And if that continues to happen, they're going to be treated unfairly. And so the way forward is not to do it tit at tit, it's not to say, but the way forward is not to do it tit for tat, rather. It's not to say, if you attack us, we're also going to attack you. That's chaos. And that's going to bring anarchy in the different countries involved. Now, a mob, we cannot leave law enforcement to a mob. And that's what I'm beginning to see in South Africa where this is happening. And if they do that to you, you cannot react to them in a similar manner. I know that there are already consultations. People are saying the Nigerian government is not doing anything. It's not that they are not doing anything. You can say they are not doing enough. I'm aware of consultations that are taking place between the Minister for Foreign Affairs in Nigeria and the South African High Commissioner to Nigeria. That also ran in India here in the week. And we've seen those kinds of consultations need to continue. And that has to also be accompanied by a thorough education of the people in different countries.
Okay, Dr. Jendele. Yeah, the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Mrs. Khadija Ibrahim, told the Senate yesterday, while briefing them on this situation in South Africa, that no Nigerian died or has died so far, based on the information made available to them by the Nigerian High Commission in South Africa. Is that correct?
But to that extent, I would say it's almost correct. And this is why I think so. No Nigerian has died as a result of these xenophobic attacks that have started to happen in the last few weeks. It doesn't mean that no Nigerian have died in South Africa. There are other instances, because you keep seeing different figures, especially on social media, taking the high numbers of Nigerians have. That means we have had Nigerians who have died as a result of other crimes being investigated. It's not as if Nigerians have been killed in this xenophobic attacks. No. When it happened in 2008, the entire world became shocked by the image of the burning man. Ernesto, the guy's name is Ernesto, and it was from Mozambique. It was only when that happened that the government began to think seriously about how to deal with the issue. There was no Nigerian that died in the xenophobic attacks of 2008. No Nigerian died in the xenophobic attacks of 2011. When it happened again in 2015, no Nigerian. Not had any information now in 2017 that any Nigerian has died as a result of that. But it doesn't mean that there are, say for example, we've had a case of a Nigerian who was passed at a shibin. A shibin is a typical beer parlor in South Africa. When you go out to drink, and if couple is sealed, and you get that, and you die, it's not going to be very easy to quickly say that was the death as a result of the attack. And so we need to be very clear about this.
Okay, but Jendele, lastly.
Every death that has occurred in South Africa over is as a result of xenophobia.
Now, because of our time.
Lastly, how can peaceful coexistence be restored back into South Africa?
Okay, but okay. Now, Chienye is particularly concerned about how we can achieve a lasting peace and putting all this to bed. But I want you to also add briefly, in about 2 minutes, there are allegations and justification for this attack on especially Nigerians who have been seen to be criminally minded, engaging in drug trade and prostitution, especially when it comes to internet fraud. And that is why some South Africans are justifying this attack.
I think you will understand the frustration of South Africans when they talk about questions of drug peddling, internet scams, and so-called prostitution. It's quite unfortunately, you have some Nigerians who come to the country to do illicit things. And the way for lasting peace, if you ask me, would be let the law take its course. If you find a Nigerian drug dealer in your country, or a Togolese drug dealer, or a Lebanese drug dealer, apply the laws. But the argument here is that, look, when you arrest a foreigner for a drug offense, they always know how to get out of detention, they always know how to get out of the loop, and they bribe the police and things like that. If there's corruption in the police force, deal with corruption in the police force. And if you also find anyone assault anyone in the country, apply the laws the way they should be applied. Whether they are your nationals or whether they are foreigners, should not matter. A crime committed is a crime committed. We should deal with crime as crime and not stereotype and deal with crime on the basis of the nationality of the person who has committed the crime. I think that would be the way forward.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Jendele Hungbo. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much.
Yes, have a wonderful day. All right, well,
So much has been said.
so much expose. All right, we'll have to go on the national news break. After the national news, we'll come back and we'll continue our discussion. We still have in the studio Deji Ogundimu, social commentator and public affairs analyst, a resource person in the studio. Stay with us, we'll be back. Rock City 101.9 FM, Citizens Forum on the show this morning. We're looking at xenophobia, the xenophobic attacks in South Africa, the causes, the reasons, and the rationale given by these South Africans launching these attacks. We have in the studio Deji Ogundimu, a public affairs analyst and social commentator, and earlier on the show we had Dr. Jendele Hungbo, who called all the way from Mason King in South Africa. He lectures at the Northwest University in South Africa. Well, Deji Ogundimu, you heard all that Dr. Jendele said about this xenophobic attacks. What's your reaction first?
It's quite unfortunate the way things are turning around the world at large, not only in South Africa. I would like to start this discussion for this segment. The question Chienye asked before Dr. Jendele Hungbo, dropped the call. She was asking, what is the solution to this problem? Because it's been reoccurring, it's been happening over and over again. What could be the solution? I think we have to come homeward here. I want to believe if any meaningful, any meaningful change towards this ugly trend, if we want to see any change, I will implore Nigerians to actually channel, be it grievance, be it solidarity, be it sympathy they are feeling for our brothers and sisters in Africa, in South Africa. They should direct anything that could be or form to our government in Nigeria. I believe strongly that Nigerians are very homely people and they are very, very, very good business entrepreneurs around the world. We always look for, how to make our lives better. And we can do so many things around here. You can imagine what Dr. Jendele Hungbo said. He said something particularly which actually bleeds my heart. He said it is only, this xenophobic attack is happening at the local level, among the less or the non-professional people. When you are having a grocery store on the street or in a neighborhood and your business is thriving, those are the kind of things that actually expose you to xenophobic attacks. Why can't the government, make our environment very, very conducive? Make our country good for us. We are not lazy people. We are not docile as people think we are. And what I always tell people is this. We should do everything possible to make our government responsive and responsible. I'm not going to dispute the fact that from both Nigerian government and South African government about the fact that no Nigerian has ever been killed in xenophobic attacks, or one or two of them, things like that. That is not a very good submission to my own premises. I don't find it tasteful at all. We should find a way. We should make our government responsive and responsible. Just basic things of life to make life easy for us. So many things. Do you know how many things, or how many jobs and how many developmental projects that will be facilitated or will be, genuinely established by Nigerian youths if we just have stable electricity? Let's start with 10 hours in a day. All over the country, things will turn around. Nigerians are looking for greener pastures across the world, Africa, Europe, America, and they are being given some kind of treatment. At a particular point in time, when Muammar Gaddafi was still alive and holding drums in Libya, we learned and read so many things. I happened to had a very short stay in Libya sometimes when I was traveling to England sometimes. The economy and people of Libya are very much happy until something happened between Gaddafi and the world powers and he was taken out of government. So many things we read about Libya are facts, and they are still there for anybody to check. Let us make our government very responsive and responsible to turn things around, and we don't have any cause running around to any country where we're going to be treated like animals.
Now, Deji Ogundimu, one issue which you've raised, which is debatable, is the fact that Nigerians only travel outside their own country, seeking greener pastures, as it were, because of the situation of the country. On the other side, a school of thought believes that no matter the situation of this country, whether it becomes an El Dorado or a paradise, Nigerians are just too energetic and dynamic, and they always want to move. Anywhere you find them, they are always on the move. So whether the country is stable, like if the economy is so good, like the economy of Switzerland or Canada, for example, where there are opportunities, stable electricity, you still find Nigerians going to India, going to Egypt. You know, there are some Nigerians in Egypt.
We are very nomadic in nature.
Very nomadic.
Yes.
Nigerians are still in that Libya, even though it's almost in ruins.
Yes, in turmoils. Yeah, I agree with you in that from that perspective. But I want to tell you something. That would be more of a kind of psychological crimson on anywhere we find ourselves. Then when Nigeria is now very much okay with electricities and other basic infrastructures, then Nigerians will be more respected everywhere they find themselves across the globe. It is more of a psychological thing. People will just look at you, see him, he's coming from. Let us personalize this matter for a very short while now. Let us see it like this. You as a son of a multi-billionaire, and your father refused to provide basic things of life for you. As a father, as a son of a multi-billionaire now, you don't have a television set in your house, you don't have a recreation facility, you don't have sport facility, you cannot play football or enjoy some basic things or relax in a conducive atmosphere. Now you went to the next neighborhood or the next street to go and play or enjoy some facilities which was provided by another, let me say, even say millionaire, not even billionaire like your father, who provided for his own children. For some times, those children of the other millionaire you went to play with as a son of a billionaire, they can tolerate you for a while, but at a point in time, they will just look at you, but what is all this? What are you even looking for here? Your father, with all the money he has, he cannot provide for you, and you are even coming to our sitting room to come and watch football. You are coming to our lawn tennis court to come and play lawn tennis. Those things can just set in at any time from anybody. Those are the kind of things that I'm looking at it from the psychological angle now. Those are the things that are happening to Nigerians around. They see us with all the enormous wealth we are having. You can see the news that are going around, somebody having $10 million in his wardrobe and other things like that. Then you will be somewhere and you are struggling with some people that they don't have the opportunity of having people that are stealing their money like that. You are competing with their job. You are competing with them in any little way. They will just be, naturally they will go and rise against you. Go back to your country. Go back to your father who has everything to take care of you, but you are not being taken care of. It's none of our business. I will see it as more of a kind of psychological attack and from people. Anywhere you find Nigerian being maltreated or being treated anyhow, those people are treating those Nigerians anyhow because of their anger towards Nigerian government. Let us stay back home. The more you say things the way they are here in Nigeria, the more or the less, let me say the less popular you become. People will just tell you, shut up, go and see this. It is not only you that are saying that things that way. Even when you say it from now till 2024, nothing will change. Let us continue living like that. You are continuing living like that, then other people are seeing you as irresponsible. Like I said in a particular book I've started writing this since this tax started. The son of a billionaire. Those are the pictures I just painted here now. Your father does not have any responsibility over you, and he has the money and all the resources to make you envy of other eyes, but you are not being taken care of. That is what is happening in Nigeria, and it's a very, very sorry state. Until we begin to assemble ourselves, rather than just condemning whatever happened outside the country, the solution, according to the question of Chienye, is we should start homeward. We should start asking questions. We should start making our government answerable to so many things. We should just stop sitting down as if everything is okay and we are just looking. We can't just be looking and looking, because those politicians are as well studying our body language and our psyche. Okay, by the time we just started, start forming reasonable groups, reasonable associations to start talking to government in a peaceful and civilized way. Let us be able to know that we can call our senator, who is the senator for Ogun Central, for Ogun this, for Ogun that. Let us have a town hall meeting. Let us compel them to be talking to us, not fighting them. Let us find a way to make sure things that are wrong in the country, we make efforts and genuine effort towards righting them. We don't have any cause to be laborers outside the country. That is my submission, and it's a very painful thing. Okay, Nigerians should wake up and start making government responsive and responsible.
Deji, there's another issue that bothers me, and I'm sure it bothers you too, because we are Nigerians. Why are Nigerians always attributed, or why are they always tagged with criminal activities, prostitution, drug peddling, and what have you? What do you think we should do to be able to redeem this image?
Everything still boils down to our government. Everything that has been happening in Nigeria in recent times is not something too good to write home about.
And where our government is failing, what should we do?
That is what I'm saying. There's nothing we can do rather than be asking questions and be talking to government. Let us make them realize that we are feeling the brunt and we are not comfortable with things, and we cannot just continue stop looking at it. Look at the Kaduna killing. It wasn't done or perpetrated by Fulani herdsmen. It wasn't done by this blame shifting. But the fact remains that people were killed. Even in Nigeria, Nigerians are killing Nigerians. The government is not taking anything. So how would they have a hold, or what positive impact would they have about people, Nigerians that are being killed outside the shores of the country? When Nigerians are being killed in thousands, in hundreds on daily basis, and Nigerian government is not doing anything. So is it outside the country that they will now have a control over who is being killed?
Now, earlier on, we were discussing about how some Nigerians, especially Nigerian men in South Africa, have taken to drug trade and then included formed mafia gangs, even with occultic attachment in peddling drugs and becoming drug kingpins in South Africa. And then many of the South Africans see all this, and they are trying to fight it, and then we call it xenophobic attacks.
It's not everything that is happening in South Africa, unfortunately, that we can term as xenophobic attacks. There's a particular video that are going around on social media where people are being killed, brutally murdered in cold blood, and people were tagging the video as Nigerians that are being killed in that manner. Before I started responding, I was called upon severally to come and discuss the issue about the video severally, but I turned down the request by those organizations that were calling me to come and talk on this issue because I needed to verify the authenticity of the claim. I have so many friends in South Africa who happens to be my Nigerian friends and some other South African nationals too. I forwarded the video to them. I asked them to listen to the language because I strongly believe the video was not shot in South Africa. We should find a way of verifying the claims. There are so many unscrupulous elements or mischievous makers on the social media that do peddle some information that are not so real. My friend in South Africa made me realize that Nigerians are now very, very deeply involved in so many activities that are not so good that you cannot be talking about on air. Nigerians has gone to the extent of initiating or inculcating the habit of drug peddling in secondary school children. This my friend I'm talking about happens to be a pastor in a South African church, a very big church like that. These drug peddlers, these Nigerian drug peddlers are now going to churches to even, continue with their illicit acts. To the extent that police are now coming to the Nigerian churches to come and harass or investigate or bust them, thinking they are actually, harboring those criminal activities. Nigerians in South Africa has now started, initiating young underage girls, bringing them to South Africa and turning them to prostitution and collecting money on their behalf. So many things. This pastor friend of mine told me Nigerians are now forming drug cartels. When your drug ring is making more money or you are having more clients to sell drugs to, they even go to the extent of bribing police. South African police are giving some Nigerian group protection. So the government are not even happy with Nigerians. Apart from xenophobic or anything, there are so many illicit acts being perpetrated by Nigerians. I want to believe this is as a result of our impunity, not having responsive government in Nigeria. All those things are happening in Nigeria. And because they are going away with it in Nigeria, they believe they can do it anywhere. And that South Africa is the kind of country that has been planned and has so many facilities and institutions in place to checkmate all these things. So to some extent, Nigerians needed to be, cautioned or a way to just, if you have any family in South Africa, find a way to talk to them to be legitimate so that they don't get killed like fowls. That is the way I've been seeing it.
Okay, quickly, we open the studio lines 0809-868-7344 or 0909-146-9670, and also the Twitter handle at Rock City FM. The short code dial 32120 it is. Type Rock, you leave a space. Type your questions, your contributions, include your name, it's important, and then you send it to 32120. Xenophobic attacks in South Africa, and we still have in the studio Deji Ogundimu. He is a public affairs analyst. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Tobi, good morning.
Good morning.
I greet you, sir. Good morning, my sister.
Good morning.
Good morning, the resource person, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Kayode Olumide.
I'm Kayode Olumide. Thank you very much, sir. I am so glad that you are there. And you've really talked, and then the man from South Africa. You see, I wanted to take some fight on the government of Nigeria and as well as the other government of South Africa. But fortunately now, I've heard you in the last your submission. It's quite frustrating to have heard now that criminal-minded Nigerians were able to find their way to South Africa to commit a lot of crimes. After all, they have been listening to radios, televisions here and there, where in Asian countries, they were always being killed. You are found guilty of one crime or the other in terms of drugs. Now let me ask, why do we have people being attractive to foreign countries? Is it because of food? Is it because of their greed or lust? Is it because of trying to make ends meet or to find a greener pasture? We need to bother ourselves about this. You see, it's because I want to have the knowledge of why they are doing this. And we have gotten it that we have been looted, plundered so much by our politicians. Reckless kind of stealing public funds, dipping their hands into the treasury of the government or Commonwealth for that matter. Now it has been boiled down at there. Because of this, they have not been so effective at all. Because when you steal, it is not your money. You will spend it the way you want it, and you will not even look back. Nobody can challenge you until this government came in, and then they started asking for what they have dig their hand into. You see, I want to see that we have a lot of people being convicted. You need to go to jail so that we did this will serve as deterrent to others. But most of these politicians, they have taken money from them, but but yet they are still parading themselves, looking forward to 2019 again. Are we serious as a government or as a people to see these people still coming? Some wanted to come back. Wanted to come back. You see, one big solution, let me tell you, is to seek for if anything had happened at all, compensation for those Nigerians. Let them come back home. Okay. Let them come back. Let's these problems together now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Tobi, and good morning, resource person. Good morning, Chienye, if I'm not mistaken. My name is Gafar Olusegun Ismaila. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
I want our people to know that human migration is very important in the world. That's why you see Americans in Nigeria, you see Britons in Zimbabwe, and you even see Nigerians working as an expatriate in the United States of America. Meaning that human migration is very, very key and important. But in respect of this xenophobic attack is not targeted towards both documented or undocumented immigrants, but rather it's more or less like a nursing. That is for educational purpose. Now, I'm saying this because people felt it's only targeted towards Nigerians who are being illicit transactions. No. It's like asking, and they care less about your immigration status. What government should do, if actually we have a very good government, is to have called the South African ambassador to Nigeria and let him know our stand. Also, Nigerian ambassador to South Africa should be questioned. That's true. And government should make sure if they are not having a very right answer to all this, all the waivers as regards tax or what have you been given to South Africans in Nigeria should be withdrawn. Because it's quite pathetic that those that are engaging in this kind of art have forgotten history. Nigeria spent well over $20 billion during the apartheid. We does not deserve this. But Yoruba will say this, so if you say that your calabash is just ordinary calabash, do not call it gold. If I call my own calabash gold, nobody can ever call it silver. But what I'm trying to tell you is this. We should make sure we have a very reliable international relations, because we are not doing so well in terms of international relations and diplomacy. Okay. Back to the guest in the studio. You painted a very wonderful scenario. Hello?
Yes, hello,
yeah. Begin to wrap up.
That the billionaire children, the child of a billionaire, trying to watch the movie in just a struggling apartment. Meaning that, what is your father doing? That is another subject of discussion for another day. Because if actually, even if Nigeria is heaven, some people will still leave Nigeria. Because that is why you see Christopher Columbus coming to Nigeria. That is exploration. Okay. So, human being is free to choose where he wants to live. But our government should also do the needful by making our country habitable so that the quest for international migration will reduce.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Gafar. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I like one of your questions.
Thank you, sir.
That you asked your resource man in the house there. That what is driving Nigerians into criminality in many parts of the world. Honestly, I really appreciate that your question. So let me my little contribution and my advice to Nigerians living in South Africa and in other parts of the world. They should be law and abiding. They should not get inside themselves into criminality. Once you do a legitimate business, nobody will harass you. But once you are now going into criminality, people will ask questions. Even the South African government was not asking questions. And the neighbors in their locality, they are seeing all these things. Sometimes they will confront the Nigerians and other nationals on this illicit business they are doing. And our national will be stand toe to toe with the local South Africans. So how do you want the South Africans to? So if their government cannot act, then they will act. That is why they act. Unfortunately, we have not lost anybody. But then our nationals should try to live within the law, whatever the law says should be done. They should not get themselves into drug peddling and prostitution. And there was a two-story building that I saw this white woman. The woman, her apartment was destroyed. The woman said that a Nigerian brought his girls for prostitution. And the neighbors have been complaining for a long time. But yet, these Nigerians and the government did not do anything. So that is why the street urchins went haywire and did what they did. And for Nigerians to take reprisal action.
Baba, you may begin to wrap up.
All right, I will quickly round up. For Nigerians to take reprisal actions in Nigeria, I don't think that would be good. Because no South African has committed any offense. When MTN committed an offense, they were sanctioned. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Reprisal actions should be taken. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chienye. Good morning, Tobi.
Good morning.
Yeah, no, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Hidembo.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, I also think I said the status of, you see, this thing will not stop because American, the model of democracy for free world, itself is becoming, okay, they will not be xenophobic now. But you see, they don't want visitors. Even Americans that are not white and so are not safe now. If you know what we all are hearing the news. So we have to put our house in order at our resource stage. I'm telling you, before fighting the South Africans, we are supposed to fight our past leaders. They've really disappointed us. No sense said it too. Electricity can have 10 hours electricity. You are sure of 10 hours electricity. You see wonders that will happen in this country. Why would people go outside? People if Nigerians want to go outside, it's the professionals, the skilled labor that should go. Not every Tom, Dick and Harry. But there's no way, by the time every Tom, Dick and Harry happens, there's no way bad eggs will not be there. And they are not portraying good ambassadors of Nigerians. So that's why if there's job here, there's only few skilled, educated, are traveling. Yes, we will not be having these bad incidences. So our leaders said we should wake up Nigerians. They have left them for years, not talking. Now that the civil state government is doing something, that's when we are talking. It is very funny. We should have talking some 20, 14, 15 years ago. And I'm sure by now we'll not be in this condition. They will not be killing us anyhow like grass everywhere. So I think that if something like this happen, our South Sudan should be afraid because they know that maybe people will come and pass on them. But Nigerians, they are shouting. So let there be, this government should not waste that opportunity of improving our electricity. But then the next government, and we should be having at least 15 hours of energy or 10 hours of energy that is sure.
Okay.
If you do that, I'm sure this will not go because if America is doing it, it will continue to grow. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's pick one more call and allow DG to react to the contributions made. Hello, good morning. Okay, you may quickly react to the contributions raised so far.
Yeah, Mr. Olumide said something about how we can actually get ourselves out of it. Like I've said, most of them that, depending on us, we just need to do more by making the government accountable. Then Mr. What's this man's name again? Mr. Gafar Olusegun Ismaila. Yes, he said so many things that needed to be done. Everybody has been waking up to the reality that we ourselves need to do so many things, and every human being has the right to choose wherever he or she wants to live. Those are the facts and the truthful submissions. But don't forget about the psychological impact of what I said. When you see a child of a responsible and responsive, a well-respected person, you treat the child with respect. I keep saying that. By the time you see somebody whose parent or father especially is well-to-do, has a lot of money and resources to take care of this particular child, and the child is not being taken care of, and this same child is looking up to you or your neighborhood or your country to take care of him or provide for his needs, or even dragging the rights you have in your own family, trying to share some of the benefits you have as a good family with you. To some extent, you want to, turn him back or make him go away from, prevent him from doing or enjoying the facilities you are being provided for by your own responsible father. That analysis can never be taken away. That is the way I see things. We are Nigerians. We are children of irresponsible father. And no any apology to anybody on that submission.
All right, let's check out the messages and tweets. This one says, "Morning. Don't we have government in this country? Why should our brothers and sisters in South Africa be butchered like cow meat? Well, I think if the president's son was involved in this barbaric act, I think it would have been a story of the past. Happy New Month." Olatunji from Okata sent in that one. Abdul Rashid Kela says, "In fact, the guest in the house has spoken nothing but the bitter truth. What else? He has said it all. At times, I wonder how our government reacts to issues bordering on its citizenry. Can anyone treat Americans like that in any country of the world? Americans will never allow that. We are our own problems. Some in government squandered our resources, shared and looted all we have to put our economy in this mess. Majority of it are in South Africa and Dubai." Abdul Rashid Kela sent in that one. Okay, more messages coming in. This one says, okay, this has nothing to do with what we are discussing. Anybody that has attained the age of 18 years should be able to know or identify left from right, not until government tells us or forces us before we do the right thing at a particular time. Abiodun sent in that one.
Okay, checking the tweets now. We have this from Mayor of God from the Quick Takes. He says, "Morning, Tobi and Chienye. I welcome you to a new month of March. Well, on the Quick Takes, my take is that Amada March should replace Isa Hayatu." Then we have Soli Ibrahim. "Before dialogue, let them retaliate, please." Okay, this one is not tasteful at all. We don't encourage violence. Benjamin Da Vinci: "This Afrophobia is caused by the education system of post-apartheid South Africa, which has created reactionary, unthinking youths. Then there are criminal elements in every collection of people. South Africans protect their own criminal offenders and use it as an excuse to attack Zimbabweans, the Zambians, and co. My people perish because they lack knowledge. We need to create interconnectivity in Africa to facilitate more trade and tourism, but our people are still parochial over imaginary land borders." That's from Yemi Da Vinci. Then we have Peace Ambassador. "Nigerian government policy is very porous. Nigerians in diaspora should be law abiding and also comply with the rules guiding their nationality. Good morning." Then Michael Shobawale: "Yes, our government should be held responsible for falling out of their responsibilities to give us the green pasture in Nigeria." Then Idamsin: "Well said, sir. The son of a billionaire, our government should do the needful. South Africans will always want to compete with us." Expecting more tweets to @RockCityFM. Send your contributions to @RockCityFM. The short code dial 32120.
All right, Ibrahim sent in this message. "The Nigerian government is critically too negligent on the xenophobic attacks of Nigerians on Nigerians in South Africa. This is rather genocide. In this context, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Nigerians in the diaspora organizations, and the African Union should truncate this menace." All right, Mr. Shole Mansour says, "My submission is that let our government wake up and do okay, and take care of the people very well, maybe, so that we may not have the cost of living."
You're a regular listener of Rocky. Most of the solution you have alluded is something that we have been saying. You have succeeded in regurgitating most of the solution to our problem in this country. Talking about the xenophobic attack. I've been saying it in every opportunity that I have, that at least in our country is an Eldorado. It's a place or it's a country that is a destination of all life. It's a land that is flowing with meat and honey. Nobody will bother his or her mind starting out of the country. After all, we claim to be the giant of Africa. But ironically, we are going to a land that we have been enslaved. Nigeria is the giant of Africa. Now, South Africa, they are now, attacking us. Why? Because we have a kind of state priority. So until we go back to the drawing board, such a thing will continue. After all, we have our own form of xenophobic attack in this country. No light, no water, no security. So what are we talking about? So charity must begin at home. And sir, don't you think that the time has come for the database of Nigerians to be properly documented in every country of the world? Can you imagine the number of Nigerians living in Ghana, so whether legal or illegal, and other parts of the country like that? Look at the country of America, where somebody was kidnapped in Afghanistan. The American government had to swap 5 Taliban to an American, immigrant. So what are we talking about? So let us invite the spirit of Donald Trump by saying Nigerian first, American first, Nigerian first. So until we have that in mind, more of the xenophobic attack will continue. Let me stop here. Good morning.
Okay, thank you.
All
Hello.
right.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, Tobi.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chienye.
Good morning.
Good morning, is it Egwuonwu?
Yes.
Good morning, Dr. Nkom.
Yes, good morning, sir. Yes, you've spoken so well, sir. You have made my day, especially the last bit of your this. I hope Nigerians are listening. As Ariwoko said, that is what we have been saying in this country. Sir, Nigerians are a different breed of people, sir. You travel a lot. You see a Nigerian in the airport, you will know because of his discipline, the way he talks, the way he shouts, the way other people will be sitting down, will sit down. You enter the plane, and then they say switch off all electronic devices. In Nigeria, will open Facebook, and the air hostesses will be telling, please switch it off, and you will start quarreling. Those are people who should be sent away. The fact that we have South Africa does not mean that they will get shit from us. We Nigerians in South Africa, but if you go, of course, you go to South Africa and see what happens Nigerians do in South Africa, you are ashamed to be called Nigerian. At times when I go there, I don't want to identify myself as a Nigerian, apart from the great passport. You should be sent away. We are becoming a problem to everybody. We are becoming a problem. Nigerians all over in America. Well, yes, I know we have doctors and all that, but Nigerians averagely are a problem to everybody. And I support the xenophobia. Send them away. Why are you going to sell oranges in South Africa? What oranges are you selling? Why are you going to sell Coke and Fanta in South Africa? You leave Nigeria, Johannesburg, and go and sell Coke and say you are this entrepreneur or you are doing what? These people are supposed to be sent away. Let South Africans take care of their country. As you already said, sir, they know us more than us. They know the Nigerian multi-billionaires who are there, and they see you coming to sell oranges. They know the whole world is a global village. They know how we store money in such a way big. We know how people steal money. We know about the political parties, what they do. They look at us and see their doors, which we are. And I use the word monkey, and people don't believe. They are chasing away monkeys to South Africa. I think they should be sent away. Those ones who are committing crimes, if it's death sentence, shoot them. Sir, those traitors who are going to South Africa, I'm sure some of them are going to look at their business in South Africa. Forget about all them, they are going to talk with the South African government. It's a lie. So they are going to take their refineries, their universities, their businesses. These are people who are dogs who should be sent away. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
so well.
Dr. Uncle. That's the last call. We'll be able to accommodate. Let's wrap up with the tweets and messages, and then we have your final reaction.
Okay, we have this tweets from Gafar Olusegun Ismaila. He says, Dr. Jendele, okay, the guest in the house. The guest in the house is Ogundimu Deji. He has spoken well. The bitter fruit said, Omoeleron Tonjegun ni Nigerians. So sad. Then he says xenophobic attack is not centered towards documented or illegal immigrants, but rather it's like an act of arson. The Mayor of God, morning once again to you all. I also greet our resource person. Well done. I think it's high time Nigerians sit tight to focus on this issue. That's it for the tweets.
All right, this message is also Abdurrashid Kala sent to this one. Baba Basanjo said Nigeria's problems is not from God, though I partially agree because Baba Basanjo knows what he's talking about. If we continue this way, We should expect worse. So Yakubu Andrew and others say billions recovered from them are gifts. Will all this go away? Some supposed to have been in prisons. South Africans would never allow or spoil their country. It's a pity we put our beloved country in this shame. Nigeria is becoming giant for nothing. Evangelist Oriola Akinyemi from Adigbe says, to the one in the studio, my question is, what can you do to let Nigerians in South Africa stop tarnishing the image of this country? Can dog back without reason? All right, I think you used that question.
Okay.
Your answer to it as a wrap up.
Okay, that's a very good question. I think I will still take everything back home. We just have to do everything possible to make our country conducive for business. Like Dr. Nkom rightly said, that why are you leaving Nigeria to go and sell coke in Johannesburg? I want to believe basically for economic reason. Whether you are doing legitimate business or illegitimate business, you are actually going there for the economic aspect of it. If you are selling coke in Nigeria and you are making 100 naira, if you go to South Africa and you make 100 rands, 100 rands is equal to so many thousands of Nigerian naira, which if sent home. But nobody is asking you not to migrate or to go anywhere for legitimate reasons. But mind what you do anywhere. I will still go back to our clamor should start henceforth to make our question answerable, to make our government answerable, responsive, and responsible towards taking care of Nigerian citizens.
Thank you very much for your contributions. Thank you for your calls, your messages, and your tweets. We want to appreciate you, Mr. Deji Ogundimu, for honoring our invitation.
Thank you very much for having
us. That's our show this morning. Join us again tomorrow, 7 a.m. That's the kickoff time on the Daybreak Show, all the way to 11 a.m. I am Tobi Joseph, telling you to have a happy and prosperous new month.
Okay, and wrapping it up with this tweet from Gafar Olusegun Ismaila. He says, immigrants should behave themselves anywhere they find themselves and also respect the law of the land always. Let's do the right thing always, but we should also understand that with peace, we can sort out all our differences and put an end to all the hate. I am Chienye Egwuonwu. Happy New Month.